Good day, everyone. Again, I'm Sir Gilbert. This time, let's talk about Quarter 3, Week 2 of your module, wherein its competency, the learner derives relationships of geometric figures using measurements and by inductive reasoning. It's talk about the supplementary angles, the complementary angles, the congruent angles, vertical angles, the adjacent angles, a linear pairs, perpendicular lines, and a parallel lines. But beforehand, let's talk about inductive reasoning skills. Or ano nga ba ito? So first, you have to observe the figures, looking for similarities and differences. Next, you have to generalize these observations, then form a conclusion or generalization. In other words, you have to apply specific to general logical thinking skills.
So let's talk about the angle pairs, perpendicular lines, and parallel lines. So it was stated here that in geometry, pairs of angles can be related to each other in several ways. Some pairs are the complementary angles, the supplementary angles, the vertical angles, and the adjacent angles. Let's have the different types of angle pairs. So first one is the adjacent angles. So ano nga ba itong adjacent angles? So when two angles are next to each other, meaning next to each other, pag next to each other, so meaning magkatabi lang sila. So they are called adjacent angles. Ano pa ang pagiging adjacent angles? Adjacent angles share a common side, a common vertex, but no interior point in common. Okay? So let's have an illustration. Okay, so pag yung mga criteria ba na yan ay makikita natin, so we can conclude that angle is said to be adjacent angles. Kaya nga sinasabi natin doon, it's inductive reasoning. So kailangan makita natin. So they should have a common side, common vertex, but no interior point in common. Excuse. So example, angle X and angle Y are adjacent angles. Bakit? Because they share a common side, a common vertex, pero they don't have interior point in common. So, eto yun. So, this one is the angle X. Okay? So, this one is the angle Y. So, ngayon, what are their common vertex? So, this one. That's their common vertex. Okay? So, and what is their common side? So, their common side is this ray. Okay? So, yan. Kaya, ang angle X and angle Y ay adjacent angles. Okay? So, angle X and angle Y. Ulitin ko, they have common vertex, they have common sides, pero they don't have interior point in common. Kasi ang interior point ng angle X ay itong part lang na to. Itong part lang na to. Nasa loob. Okay? So, itong part na to. Okay? So, itong part lang na to. Yan yung mga points na nanda dyan. Okay? Yan yung angle Y. Whereas, angle X, ito yon. Okay? Yan yung mga points ng angle X. So, it's obvious that they don't have a common interior point. Okay? So, ayan. Kaya, angle X and angle Y are adjacent angles. Okay? Let's proceed. Use the figure below to identify the pair of adjacent angles. Okay? So, sabi rito, angle MQN and angle NQP are adjacent angles with common side QN. Okay? So, tingnan nga natin. So, ito yung, this one is angle MQN. Okay? MQN. Ano yung vertex ng MQN? So, it's vertex Q. So, the vertex of MQN, as I've said, it's Q. Point Q. Okay? Whereas NQP, this one. So, NQP. Do they have the same vertex? Yes. So, the vertex of MQN and NQP is the vertex Q. Okay. So, isa pang criteria para maging adjacent sila. Do they have common sides? Yes. The side of MQN common to NQP is the side QN or ray QN. Okay? So, take note, ang ray natin, ang sides ng angle is a ray. Okay? So, ayan. So, ray QN is the side common to both angle MQN and NQP. Okay? So, ang tanong, are angle MQN and MQP adjacent angles? What is the answer? It's a big no. Bakit? Because they share a common interior point which is point N. Okay? Asan nga ba yung MQN? So, this one is MQP. Yes. So, nasa loob niya ang point N. Ang isa ay MQN. Okay, so they have common points which is point M. Point N rather. Okay? So kaya, hindi sila adjacent angles. Okay? So malinaw ang pagiging adjacent angles. Let's have another type of a linear pair. A complementary angles. A complementary angles, ano naman ito? So, two angles are complementary if the sum of their measure is equal to 90 degrees. Okay? So, ang importante dito, itong 90 degrees. Okay? So, each angle is a complement of the other if the sum of their angles is equal to 90 degrees. So, the two angles do not need to be together or adjacent. Okay? So, it's clear that, so, no need. Okay? So, it does not follow that if they are together, then we can have a complementary angle. Okay? So, they just need to add up to 90 degrees. Okay? As long as the sum of two angles is 90 degrees, then we can say that those angles are complementary angles. Okay? Take a look example number 1. So, the first angle measures 50 degrees. Okay? The other angle measures 40 degrees. Once we add that measurement for 50 and 40, the result is equal to 90 degrees. Okay? So, ang tanong, are they complementary angles? Yes, because the sum of the first and the second angle is equal to 90 degrees. Okay? So, they are complementary angles. How about this one? So, first angle is 20 degrees, the second angle is 70 degrees, then the sum of their measurements is 90, therefore, they are complementary angles. Okay? So, yan. So, okay, so, this one is the illustration. So, the solution. Okay, so, measure of angle ABC. Okay, this is in connection with this figure. Okay, so, the measure of angle ABC is 50 degrees. Okay, it's 50 degrees. So, this one. Okay, this one is 50 degrees angle ABC. And the measure of angle CBD equals 40 degrees. Okay, this one is CBD. Okay, it's 40 degrees. Then, angle ABC is the complement of angle CBD. Yes. Okay? Because the sum of their angles is equal to 90 degrees. Okay? So, on the other hand, CBD is the complement of angle ABC. Okay? So, they are complementary angles. So, this time, let's have a word problem. Find the complement of an angle whose measures 35 degrees. Okay? So, let's represent a variable to represent the complement of 35 degrees. Okay? So, let x be the complement of 35 degrees. So, x plus 35 equals 90 will be our working equation. Okay? So, working equation. Did you still remember in our algebra? So, meron tayong tinatawag na working equation as we go through problem involving algebraic expressions, equations, and inequalities. Okay? So, working equation. Yan, working equation. Okay? So, how to solve this equation? So, algebraically, we can solve this one by using a properties of equality. Okay? So, x plus 35 degrees minus 35 degrees equals 90 minus 35 degrees by subtraction property of equality. Pero, ginagamit natin ay addition property by adding negative 35 on both sides. So, 35 plus negative 35, so that's 0. So, and on the other side will be plus negative 35 also. So, 90 plus negative 35, so we'll arrive at 55 degrees. So, therefore, so x equals 55 degrees, so that would be the complement of 35 degrees angle. Okay? That's it. So, let's have example number 2. And angles 1 and 2 are complementary to each other. What is the sum of measure? What is the measure of angle 2 if angle 1 is 57 degrees? Okay? So, given that the measure of angle 1 is 57 degrees. So, the question, what will be the measure of angle 2 if they are complementary to each other, or they are complementary angles? Okay? So, we all know that the sum of the measure of angle 1 and the measure of, and the measure of angle 2 is equal to 90 degrees. Okay? So, given that the measure of angle 1 equals 57 degrees, then the measure of angle 2 is unknown, so equals 90 degrees. Okay? So, by substitution, and this time by subtraction property or addition property of equality, so we will have to eliminate 57 degrees. So, para gawin natin yon, we have to add both sides of this equation by negative 57. So, negative 57 on the left side and negative 57 also on the right side. So, this will result to 57 minus 55 degrees, which is equal to 0. And what remains on the left side will be the measure of angle 2. And by simplifying 90 degrees plus negative 57 degrees or 90 degrees minus 57 degrees, you will arrive at 35 degrees. Okay? So the measure of angle 2 this time is 35 degrees. Okay? So the question, so if the measure of angle 1 equals, given that 57 degrees, it's the sum, if we add 33 degrees, is it equal to 90 degrees? Okay, is it equal to 90 degrees? Yes. Okay, so therefore, the correct answer is really 35 degrees. Okay, so because the two angles are complementary. Okay, so note, a right angle is defined to be an angle 90 degrees, while complementary angles are two angles that up to 90 degrees. Okay, don't be confused with the right angle and a complementary angles. A right angle is angle which is 90 degrees, but when it comes to a complementary angles, there are two angles that whose sum is equal to 90 degrees. Okay, so let's now proceed to a supplementary angles, another type of a linear pair. So if we have a complementary angles has a sum of equal to 90 degrees, how about the supplementary angles? A supplementary angles, again, two angles. Okay, the sum of those angles is equal to 180 degrees. Okay, this time it's 180 degrees. Each angle is a supplement of the other. Okay, so they are supplement to each other. If the two angles do not need to be okay, so two angles do not need to be adjacent. So kagaya nung complementary angles, kahit hindi sila adjacent o magkatabi, so pwede natin sila masasabi as supplementary angles as long as the sum of the measures of their angles equal to 180 degrees. Okay, so let's have, okay, so if the two supplementary angles are adjacent, then they can form a straight line. If the two supplementary angles are adjacent, then they can form a straight line. Okay, so later on, so balikan natin yan. So let's highlight this one. Okay, so okay, if the two supplementary angles are adjacent, meaning magkatabi, then they can form a straight line. Okay, so dito muna tayo sa hindi sila naka-form na straight line. So angle 45 degrees and angle 135 degrees. Once we add the two, the result is 180 degrees. Okay, so if it is 180 degrees, so these two angles are said to be supplementary angles. Okay, so how about this one? 5 degrees and 175 degrees. The sum of degree measures is equal to 180 degrees. Okay, so they are also supplementary angles, and tignan nyo, magkahiwalay sila. Okay, so hindi kailangan na maging adjacent. Okay, so ayan. Ngayon, ito yon sinasabi natin. Okay, so the measure of angle ABC is 140 degrees. Okay, ito yon, ABC. So ABC. Okay, and the measure of angle CBD equals 40 degrees. So CBD. Okay, it's 40 degrees. So this time, if the measure of angle ABC plus the measure of angle CBD equals 180 degrees, then we can say, or we can conclude that angle ABC is the supplement of angle CBD and vice versa. Okay, so that's it. No? So ang tanong, are they adjacent angles? Okay, so is angle ABC and CBD have common vertex? Yes, they have common vertex, and that's point B. Okay, and that's vertex B. Okay, point B. Okay, isa pa, para maging adjacent. Okay, so meron ba silang common sides? Okay, yung side BC or ray BC is a ray, therefore it's a side of angle ABC, and ray BC is also a side of angle CBD. Okay, so in other words, they have the same, they have common vertex. They have common sides. So therefore, they are said to be adjacent angles, and at the same time, they are supplementary angles. Okay? Ayan. So then they don't have common points. Do they have common points? No. So the points, the interior points of angle CBD is on this area, whereas the interior points of angle ABC is on this area. So wala silang common interior points. So, ano ngayon ang magiging generalization natin? Okay? So, angle ABC and angle CBD, which are adjacent angles, is also supplementary angles. And they form a straight line. Okay? So, ito yung sinasabi dito. If the two supplementary angles are adjacent, then they can form a straight line. So, ayun. They can form a straight line. Yes, they form a straight line. Okay? Ayun. So, let's have another one. Angle angle A and angle B are supplementary angles. The measure of angle A equals 120 degrees. Find the measure of angle B. Oh, if angle A equals 120 degrees, so what is the measure of angle B? Oh, alam na this. Diba? Kung supplementary angles yan, ito ay 120 degrees. Oh, alam na this. Diba? Yung measure of angle B. So, the measure of angle B together with the measure of angle A equals 180 degrees. And then again, that's our working equation. And by substitution, since the measure of angle A equals 120 degrees plus the measure of angle B ay unknown pa rin siya, so equals 180 degrees. And by applying properties of equality, you will arrive at the measure of angle B, which is equal to 60 degrees. Okay, the question is 120 plus 60 degrees. 120 degrees plus 60 degrees equal to 180. Because the measure of angle A equals 120, the measure of angle B equals 60. So 120 plus 60, is it equal to 180 degrees? Yes. Okay, so the correct answer will be 60 degrees. They are supplementary angles. Another one. Find the supplement of an angle if it measures 75 degrees. So let X to represent be the supplement of 75 degrees. So again, alam na this. Kung 75 ang supplement angle, so ano yung ka-supplement niya? Yung other angle. Okay? So again, X plus 75 degrees equals 180 degrees. Okay? Ayun. So, by applying properties of equality, you will arrive at X equals 105 degrees. Is 105 degrees equal to 105 degrees plus 75 degrees plus 75 degrees equal to, is it equal to, okay, 75 plus 105, is it equal to 180? Equal to 180? Yes, okay. So 75 plus 5, that's 80. Plus 100, so it's 180. Okay, so that's it. Ayan. Okay, palakihan natin. Okay. So 75 plus 105 equals 180. Okay, so correct. Okay, this time let's have a linear pairs. Another type of angle pair. So linear pairs. Linear pairs are two adjacent angles that create a straight line. So a linear pairs are supplementary angles. Okay, if they are supplementary angles, the sum of their angles is equal to 180 degrees. Okay, so meron palang term na tinatawag kung ang dalawang angles ay adjacent angles and they are supplementary angles and form a straight line, then they are called a linear pair. Okay, so a linear pair is a pair of adjacent angles whose non-adjacent sides form a line. It's a pair of adjacent angles whose non-adjacent sides form a line. Okay, so non-adjacent sides. Okay, ito yun. Okay, so ito yun. Okay, so hindi adjacent sides. Okay, so ito yun. Okay, they form a line. Okay, ayun. So ang tawag natin doon, linear pair. Okay, so the measure of angle ABC at DBC plus the measure of angle ABC equals 180 degrees. Okay, so ito yan. So DBC 100 degrees and ABC 80 degrees. Sir, pwede bang sabihin CBA yan? Yes, pwede. CBA. Okay, ang hindi pwedeng itawag dyan sa angle na yun ay ACB. Okay, kailangan yung gitna niya ay yun yung vertex. Kung 3 points ang ginagamit natin, CBA or ABC, pwede yun. Okay, so ito, may tinuturo pala yung arrow, no? So this one is the non-adjacent sides. Okay, so okay, therefore they are considered as linear pair. Okay, so ayun na, so may conclusion tayo. So in the diagram above, angle ABC and angle DBC form a linear pair. The angles are adjacent sharing ray BC. Yeah, sharing ray BC. So therefore they are adjacent angles. And the non-adjacent rays BA and BD, which lie on line AD. Okay, so BA and BD are non-adjacent rays or the non-adjacent sides of the two angles. Okay, so Since the non-adjacent sides of a linear pair form a line, a linear pair of angles is always supplementary angles. Okay? So a linear pair form a line. A linear pair of angles is always supplementary angles. Yes. Okay? So a linear pair is always supplementary angles. Okay? So that's correct. However, just because two angles are supplementary, it does not mean that they form a linear pair. Okay, so lilinaw dito, no? So, hindi porket supplementary angles yon, okay? So, does not mean that they form a linear pair. Okay? Okay, kung supplementary angles sila, so hindi ibig sabihin no, na they form a linear pair. Okay, yun yung ibig sabihin nito. Kasi, ang supplementary angles pwedeng magkahiwalay. Okay? Pwedeng magkahiwalay. Ang sinasabi lang sa linear pair, magkatabi. Okay? At saka yung two non-adjacent sides nila form a straight line. Okay, ayan, malinaw Okay, so in the diagram, this one is the diagram. In the diagram at the right, angle ABC and angle DBE are supplementary angles since 30 degrees plus 150 degrees equals 180 degrees, but they do not form a linear pair since they are not adjacent. Yes. Okay? They are supplementary angles. Angle ABC and angle DBE are supplementary angles, but they are not linear pair. Okay? Because the definition of supplementary angles, the sum of their angles, the measure of their angles is equal to 180 degrees. Okay? So they are supplementary angles. And then again, they are not linear pair. So find the missing angle to make the pair linear. To make the pair linear. Okay. So 100. So okay. So it's 102 degrees. So 102 degrees. Kung linear pair sila, kung alam na this. Pag linear pair, di ba? Pag linear pair, yung x plus the degrees, x, the measure of angle x, x is just a representation, the measure of this angle. Okay? So based on this equation. So x will be represented as the measure of angle for this figure. Okay? So, okay. So, x plus 102 degrees equals 180. Okay? So, 102 yan. Ibawas na lang natin yon sa 180. And that would be x 78 degrees. Okay? So, kung papansinin nyo, so, lagi natin ina-apply yung properties of equality. So, algebraic expression. Diba? Yan. So, ganun lang. So, find the measure of angle M. Ito na naman. So, kung ito ay 85 degrees, okay, kung ito ay 85 degrees, so, m plus 85 degrees equals 180. Then m plus 85 minus 85 or plus negative 85 on both sides, so we'll arrive at m equals 95 degrees. Okay? So, madali lang. As long as the sum of their angles is equal to 180 degrees. By applying, this one is a linear pair, then the measure of these two angles is equal to 180 degrees. Because they are supplementary angles. How about the vertical angles? The vertical angles are the angles which are opposite to each other when two lines cross. So if two lines cross, okay, pagkagaya nito. So vertical in this case means they share the same vertex. They share same vertex, corner point. Not the usual meaning of up, down. Up, down. Baba, taas. Okay. So angle 1 and angle 3 are vertical angles. Sabi rito. Okay. Nag-cross ang line. Okay, nag-cross ang line. Then angle 1 and angle 3, vertical angles. Okay. Ayun. So, vertical angles din sila. At ano pa? Itong dalawa na. Diba? They are on opposite sides. Opposite to each other. So, 2, 4. They're also vertical angles. Okay. So, yun pala. Pag mayroon tayong cross lines, two lines that cross, so they form a vertical angles. Okay? At ito pa. The vertical angles are equal. The measure of angle 1 equals measure of angle 2. Angle 3. Okay. Parang gunting lang. No? Gunting lang. Okay. So, ito pag pinaliit mo to, okay, okay, so, lalaki naman to. Angle 1 and angle 2 are linear pair. The sum of angle 1 and angle 2 is 180 degrees. Okay. Angle 1 and angle 3 are equal. Okay. Yun. No? So, malinaw. Okay, pag nag-cross yung line, angle 1 and angle 3, it's opposite sides. Okay, so they are equal. Same thing will happen to angle 2 and angle 4. Okay, that's it. So, it's a simple analysis. Okay? So, yan yung mga titignan natin. Okay? Ayan. Ang una, kailangan cross lines. Okay? Tapos, they share same vertex. Okay, ito yung vertex. Okay, so ayun, no? Then they form a vertical angle. Okay, so kaya measure of angle 1, angle 2 equals to measure of angle 4. So meron tayong theorem dito na sinasabi that vertical angles are congruent. Okay, so congruent. So itong congruent na to ay may malalim na kahulugan yan pagdating natin sa ibang grade level. Okay, so ano ba pinagkaiba ng equal sa congruent lang? Okay, so wag muna natin pag-aralan dito yan. Okay, so example 1, find the missing value in the figure below by applying the concept about vertical angles. The concept about vertical angles, ano nga ba yun kung naalala nyo pa? Okay, so 115 degrees ito. Oh, so ano measure nito kung 115 degrees yan, di ba? Since the measures of vertical angles are equal, so the measure of angle A is also 115 degrees. Okay, yes. Bakit natin nasabing vertical angles yan? Ito yung dalawang line na nag-cross, di ba? Dalawang line na nag-cross. So ito 115, so ito 115 din. Ano measure nito? Oh, alam na this, linear pair, supplementary angles. Kung ano angle nito, anong measure ng angle nito, yun din ang measure ng angle nito. Pero hindi naman hinahanap dito. Okay, so number 2. Angles R and T are vertical angles. The measure of angle R is 80 less than twice the measure of angle T. What are their measures? Okay, so para siyang equation or tawag dito. So it seems like a mathematical sentence. So the measure of angle R is 80 less than twice the measure of angle T. Okay, so let's represent a variable para sa measure of angle T, and let's assign variable X. Okay, so ayan, so ganon. So again, it's an algebraic representation. Let X be the measure of angle T. Okay, balikan natin to. So the measure of angle R is 80 less than twice the measure of angle T. Okay, so ayan, no? So 80 less than twice. What do you mean by twice? So 2 times the measure of angle T. Since the measure of angle T is X, so twice of that X will be represented as 2X. Okay, ayan. And 80 less. Okay, 80 less. Diba? So mas mababa ng 80. So that's why we have a symbol for a subtraction sign. So 2X minus 80 will be the measure of angle R. Okay, yan ang representation natin. Para sa measure of angle T, so that's X. And para sa measure of angle R, 2X minus 80. Base dito sa mathematical sentence na to. Okay? And then again, since angle T and angle R are vertical angles, the equation must be X equals 2X minus 80. Okay? Ito yung tinatawag natin na working equation. Okay? Kailangan ma-formulate mo sila. But sila equal? Because they are vertical angles. Okay? Yun, no? So, ayan. So, by applying properties of equality, ayan, no? So, X minus 2X equals 2X minus 2X minus 80. Okay, so X minus 2X is a subtraction of polynomial, so we will arrive at negative X. Okay, so negative X and 2X minus 2X, that's 0. Then what remains will be negative 80 on the right side. So negative 80, okay, so negative 80, so we multiply negative X and negative 80 by negative 1. Sabi rito, division property. We can also apply multiplication property. So negative X times negative 1, so that's X, and negative 80 times negative 1, so that's 80 degrees. Okay, so the measure of angles T and R are both equal to 80 degrees. Okay, both 80 degrees. So the X is 80 degrees. Okay, so check nga natin. Ito, okay. So that's 2 times ang X natin ay 80. So that's 80. Okay, minus 80 equals, that's 80 times 2, that's 160. And minus 80 equals 80. Okay, they are the same. Okay, they're the same. Correct. They're the same. Okay, so ayan, palakihin natin. So 280 minus 80 equals 160. Okay, so 280 times 80, that's 160 minus 80 equals 80. So they are the same. Okay, ayun. So let's have another example. Another pair of angles. So congruent angles. Congruent angle. Ito sinabi rin, congruent angles have the same angle measurement. Yung pala yun. Okay? So congruent angles have the same angle measurement. Okay? So pag congruent angles, the same angle. Yes, definitely. So, okay. So, congruent angles have the same angle measurement. Okay, so congruent angle. Okay, so this time let's have the perpendicular lines. The perpendicular lines, two lines are said to be perpendicular if they intersect, form right angle. Okay, so they form a right angle, then they are perpendicular. Kagaya nito. Oh. So, line naman to, line. So, line. So, two lines. So, line HM and line MV. Okay? Ito kasi naka slide. Kaya parang hindi siya right angle. Okay. So, sabi rito, 90 degrees. Then, line HM and line MV are perpendicular. Ayun. Okay. So, kasi naka-form sila ng right angle, which is 90 degrees. Okay. So, ito pa. So, ano to? Line AB. This one is line AB. Okay, so line AB. Line AB. Ayaw. So line AB is perpendicular to line CD. Okay, take note of the symbol. Take note of our symbols. So that's to represent line AB, and this one to represent line CD, and this one is a symbol for perpendicular. This one. Okay, so this one is a sign for perpendicular. Okay, this one is ion. So, this one is a symbol for perpendicular. Okay, ayan. So, that's it. Okay, so let's ulitin natin. Pag perpendicular lines, they form a right angle, then yung dalawang line na yun ay perpendicular. Okay, how about the parallel lines? Parallel lines are lines which go through the same direction and will never meet. Parallel lines never meet. Okay, as they are equidistant from each other. Okay, ayun, no? So, ito, no? Parallel lines. So, parallel lines. So, the line M and line N are parallels. Yes, hindi sila mag-intersect. Okay, they are equidistant. Okay, so, pares ang distance dito. So, kaya hindi sila mag-meet, hindi sila mag-intersect. So, AC and BD, AC and BD, segment AC and BD. Okay, so, parallel lines. Let's have your activities. So, 1.1. So, I am a pair of angles. My two adjacent angles create a straight line and adds up to 180 degrees. Ano yun? A pair of angles. My two adjacent angles create a straight line and adds up to 180 degrees. Ano to? Okay. Linear pair ba yun? Okay. So, I am made up of two or more lines that are equidistant from each other. Two or more lines. Basta equidistant. Equidistant to each other. Ano yung sinasabi doon? So, they are parallel lines. Okay. So, I am composed of two angles with the same measure and are arranged vertically. Vertically. I am composed of two angles with the same measure and are arranged vertically. So, vertical angles. Okay. So, two angles of the same with the same measure. Vertical angles. Okay. Guess me. Me and my father's measure adds up to 90 degrees. Measures. Me and my partner's measure adds up to 90 degrees. Anong sinusukat nila? Okay. So, ano yun? Okay. Yun ay complementary angles. Okay. What am I if my partner and I shared a common side and common vertex? Okay. Ano yun? Okay. They are adjacent angles. Okay. Common side. Okay. Ang linear pair, do they have common sides? Yes. Do they have common vertex? Yes. Okay. So, yun din yun. Okay. So, share common side. Okay. Common vertex. Yes. So, it's also a linear pair. Find my missing value. 60 degrees angle, what is the measure of my supplement? 60. 180 supplement angle. So, alin dyan? Okay. So, 25 complement siya, 25. So, alin dito? Ang 25. Okay. Is it 65? Okay. Vertical angles are congruent. Angles ABC, A and B are vertical. And the measure of angle is 87. What is the measure of angle B? Vertical angles yan. So, ito ba siya? Okay. So, some quadrilaterals like square and rectangles show perpendicular sides. What must be the measure of its angle of these shapes to prove the sides are really perpendicular? Ano nga ba yun para maging perpendicular? Ito ba siya? Okay. So, two angles are supplementary when there's measure sum up to 180 degrees. One of these angles are measures 120. So, ano yung measure ng supplement niya? So, alin dito? Okay? Para pag inad natin, so 120. Plus, yun. It's 180. So, identify me. So, use the figure A at the left to answer the following. Mukhang komplikado ito. Okay, so ito yung angle natin. Okay, ito yung mga angle natin. So, this one is angle B, angle A. Okay, yan. Name a pair of complementary angles. Name a pair of complementary angles. Okay, siya nga ba yun? Okay. Angle AOB, angle AOB, and angle COD. AOB and angle COD. 45 plus 45 equals 90. Yes. Okay, how about this one? Tama ba? Angle BOD. So, name the supplementary angle. To BOA. Asam yung BOA? BOA. So, BOA. Okay, sabi rito. So, BOD. BOA and BOD. Okay, yan. Supplementary angles. Okay, yan. Okay, so, about this one? So, DOE is 30 degrees. And AOE are supplementary. These two is supplementary. Find the measure of AO. Is it 150? Okay. So, how about this one? So, name the angle adjacent to DOC. DOC. This one, DOC. DOC. So, DOC. Okay, adjacent. So, angle COB. Okay. Yan, COB. And DOE. Ayun, okay. So, how about this one? Angle congruent to angle BOA. Where is angle BOA? The angle BOA. BOA. Congruent. Oh, ito na yun. COD. Tama. 45 congruent angles. Okay. Ayan. Name me, please. Okay, tell whether complementary angles, okay, supplementary angles, linear pair, vertical angle, so adjacent angles. Okay, so itong dalawa, ano to? Linear pair ba sila o supplementary? Okay, ayan. Okay, ayan. So, ito, angle A and B. Angle A and B, ano siya? Okay, number 3. Angle A and B, ano to? So, they form 90 degrees, okay? How about this one? Angle A and B, may cross lines. Okay, so, ayan. How about this two? 130 plus 50. So, ano yun? Okay? So, this time, let's have your word problem. Read the following problems carefully, then solve the extra sheets for your solutions if necessary. The supplement of an angle is 40 more than the other. Their measures are, okay, so, siya. Okay? So, ayan. Let x be the measure of an angle. X plus 40 the measure of the supplement. Supplement sila rin. Okay, x plus 40 more than the other. Okay, x plus 40. Our working equation will be x plus 40. The sum of two angles must be equal to 180. Okay, by addition property, 2x plus 40, by simplifying x plus x, that's 2x. And applying properties, you will arrive at x equals 70. Okay, so 70 degrees and 70 degrees plus 40 degrees equals 110. So, ano yung measure? The measures are 70 degrees and 110 degrees. Okay, ayun. So, number 2, when two angles are considered as a linear pair and one angle is 40 degrees, then twice the other. Okay, so ito yung magiging solution natin. Okay, so ito ang magiging solution natin. So, let x measure first angle. Okay, dalawang angle sila. So, since linear pair yan, one angle is 60 degrees more than thrice the other. So, the first angle is x. The other angle is 3x plus 60, thrice the other. The first angle is x, so that's 3 times x. One angle is 60 more than, so plus 60, the measure of angle 2. So, since they are supplementary, linear pair, if they are linear pair, they are supplementary angles. So, the sum of x and 3x plus 60 is equal to 180 degrees. Okay, by algebraic manipulation, you will arrive at x equals 30, and therefore the measure of larger angle is 3 times 30 plus 60 equals 90 plus 60 equals 150 degrees. Okay, so the first angle is x, 30 plus 150, so that's 180. Okay, that's correct. Number 3. So, angles M and N are vertical angles. Okay, if they are vertical angles, so sabi rito, they should have, they are equal. The measure of angle the measure of M and N are equal since vertical angles are equal. Okay, so if the measure of an angle is is 2x minus 40 and angle n equals x plus 60, what are the measures? Okay, ito, no? So, ano measures nila? Okay. So, okay, palakihin natin. So, what is their measures? Okay, so 2x minus 40 equals x plus 60, and that's m equals n, di ba? M equals n. So, since vertical angles are equal, so 2x minus 40, that's represents for m, and n equals x plus 60. So, 2x minus x, subtracting x on both sides. Then, by algebraic manipulation, so the measures of two angles are for m equals 2 times 100 minus 40 equals 160. So, yan, no? 2x minus 40, since the x is 100, so that's 2 times 100. That's 200 minus 40, that's 160 degrees. And ang isa naman ay x plus 60. So, x, nakita natin ay 100. So, 100 plus 60 equals 160 degrees. Talagang vertical angle sila. Okay? Ayun. If two angles are complementary and one angle is 12 less than the other, okay, mas mababa na 12 degrees yung isa. Okay? So, ayan. So, okay. Okay, ayan. So, let x be the measure of first angle. X minus 12, the measure of second angle. So, mas mababa ng 12. So, the sum will be 90 degrees because they are complementary angles. So, x plus x minus 12 equals 90. Again, by algebraic manipulation, you will arrive at x equals 51. If x equals 51, ang tanong, what are the measures of the two angles? So, 51 degrees para sa x, then x minus 12. So, since x is 51, this must be 51 minus 12 equals 39 degrees. So, 51 and 39 degrees are the measures of two angles. Is 51 plus 39 equals 90? Yes, so that's correct. Okay, so two lines intersect at a certain point. What should be the degree measure? Measure of an angle that will satisfied with the two that will satisfy. Okay, pero pinili two lines. Okay, so ano yung measure? Alam nyo na. Okay, so I want you to answer, check your understanding. Okay, so ayan, madali lang naman to. So, kaya-kaya nyo nating sagutan. Check your understanding. Test 1, test 2, test 3, A and B, the post tests, and the reflections. Okay? So, yan ang sasagutan nyo sa inyong module. Okay? So, that's all about. Okay. So, it's all about our quarter 3 week 2 module. Okay? So, uli, sana na nakuha nyo or may natutunan uli kayo para sa pag-uusap natin na ito. Okay? So, maraming salamat at God bless everyone.
Yeah.